Hey y'all, it's me, Dr. Lynn Daniel, PhD, EDS. I am the self care evangelist here on social media, and I encourage individuals to prioritize their personal and professional self care. I do that through the Word of God because I am a Bible believing Christian who believes in the redeeming work of Jesus Christ. And I also use social science because I am an educational researcher. So, thank you all for being here today. I want to talk a little bit about two things. Well, journaling is the primary message, the importance of journaling. And right here, I have my newly acquired within the last year or so journal collection. Yep, these are it. And so when I journal, typically, depending on if I'm doing this for research, for a project I'm working on, it really depends on the purpose. So I will have like one particular journal for that topic, and that journal will be reflected upon and discussed and organized in that one journal. But then the other journals that are just for me to look at my day, to reflect on how my day went, or, personal things, feelings, or whatever, then I'll grab whichever one is closest, right? Like sometimes I will do that. So when I was looking through these, I saw where I started some entries in 2022, 2021, 2020, and then I got to a certain point in the journal, and then I either have blank pages or notes from a totally different year. So, yeah, it really depends. Now, in the Bible, there are scriptures that emphasize the importance of like record keeping because record keeping can really give us a historical account of things, of our past, of expectations, culture, belief, traditions, what's important, meaningful advice, and that type of thing. And so if we look in Habakkuk 2 and 2, Deuteronomy 31 and 24, after Moses finished writing in the book the words of the law, Moses recorded them on stone and then in some kind of book. And then Proverbs 3 and 3 tells us about binding them around our neck, writing them on the tablets of our heart, the precepts of God. Exodus 17:14, with Moses writing on the scrolls so that things could be remembered and to make sure that the future generations hear of those historical accounts. And Luke 1 3 and 4 encourages us. This is him writing the book of Luke to his friend Theophilus so that he could share the message of Jesus Christ. So, documenting accurate information to pass along. And um, so the Bible encourages us to reflect and to record. And then to me, I like journaling because I like journaling personally as a personal practice because it does help me to get the information off of me, off of my physicality, and into a neutral, non judgmental means or space. And then I can revisit it and engage with it, like reflect and keep writing. And you can question yourself. You can use those critical thinking questions, especially when you're journaling about emotional things and you want to like disengage or work through it and get the emotions out of your body, out of your somatic, what do they call that, somatic system or whatever, right? Your neurological system. What? Yeah. So, as a qualitative researcher, we journal reflexivity, right? So we're reflecting over what data, what information was shared with us in our interviews. We want to make sure we're doing that accurately. We want to check our self awareness to see that we were listening, that we did record what we hear. All of, those are very important aspects of that process, and that reflexivity helps us to maintain transparency where we are engaging with ourselves about what we are bringing to the study, our own biases, our own lenses, our own experiences, and then we have to work through those and acknowledge them so that we can make sure the data, the information we are getting and recording and we will be analyzing, we need to make sure that our place in it, that we give it the data the proper place, and we position ourselves in that process and in that data. Um, I well, we can't really be objective, but we can be transparent about it, right? When we start to interpret the data, like when I first started my doctoral program, they emphasized objectivity a lot. Now, objectivity is practical and efficient. It's a way to engage with the quantitative data, but the qualitative data, you as the researcher, you're in there. You're positioned in there. You're a part of the community. You are a part of that process. So yeah, transparency is important. And then it's a way to manage the data and to organize the information. And so, yeah, our field notes, like your journal, is a repository. So all your notes go in there and everything, your observations go in there. And, you know, you can sketch pictures and all kinds of ways that the data can be collected depending on what conceptual framework you're using. But even still, there can be room for those types of things, because I know in my journals, even though most of those are personal and not for research, unless I decide to use some part of my story in the research, pictures, poems, little doodles, all of those things have meaning. They do. So you can use those, right? Um, and also critical reflection and meaning making. So this is when you're analyzing the data and the experiences, you're looking at the interactions and all of those things, and you start to give meaning. So what do these things mean? Like, this is what was said, but what's the underlying depth? What is the deep, rich meaning that I can pull from this? And so, yeah, as we're synthesizing all the complex information, putting it together, then we are going to pull out, and something new will come from the information. So, I've shared with you all the reasons why I personally journal. I've been journaling since I was a young girl. It's just something that I that served me well when I was younger. Being a having childhood illnesses and um, having to sit on the porch or not engage often with the kids my age until I got a little older, and I just started making decisions to try things. And so I would journal um, poems, especially around middle school years. This is the time frame when I really began journaling, in middle school years. Poetry, I would copy the song lyrics from the album covers, and I would use the album cover art for inspiration. I think I shared this with you all. I shared this with somebody, that one of the most inspirational album covers that we had when I was growing up was the Elton John Goodbye to Yellow Brick Road album cover. It was like a trifold. It was so unique. I believe it was a trifold, and it had two albums, LPs, right? Long playing albums, and all the artwork. And it showed him stepping onto the yellow brick road with these platform red glitter shoes like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. And that album provided a lot of artistic inspiration for me to make up poems. The song lyrics were inspirational, and all of these were ways that I journaled when I was young, going through the angst of being a middle schooler, going through the angst of my body changing, going through the angst of having illnesses, and then, you know, at one point in my middle school um, experience, I missed school, a month of school. I was so sick. I missed a month of school. And so yeah, like this is why journaling is important. Now, the other thing I want to say is, so then what do you do? What do you do with your journals, like with the information in here? This is where once you feel ready, you must, I encourage you, I implore you to figure out a way to tell your story. Now, this is me. This is like part two of the video I did the other day, but really, there are so many people waiting to hear your story. Like, there are so many, as long as you have breath in your body and blood warming through your veins, running warm through your veins, you have a story to tell. And tell that story, because your story will encourage other people, and it will help other people to make major important decisions that will save them from making major errors. I was listening to this young lady on TikTok who gives a testimony about spending an enormous 27 years. I can't even say the word enormous. In 27 years in the prison system, right, from school to prison pipeline. And this woman looks young by comparison. By She's not in my age group. I don't believe she looks young. So she must have spent more than half of her life in the prison system. But she tells her stories. She shares them on these videos, and she's a great storyteller. And every time I listen to one of her 10-minute stories, I'm either brought to tears or almost to tears. Like, there are so many life lessons that she shares, and she's a Christian now. So she talks about her journey through her life choices and her lifestyle choices, and being a young adolescent, uh, young adult criminal, and all kinds of things, but feeling the tug of God on her life. And yeah, like that. Now, she's telling her story, she's sharing it. And if that's the mode and medium and the way that you can get it out through videos, get it out through videos. And then, you can take those videos and turn those videos, those transcripts, you can turn those transcripts into written information, right? You can turn your transcripts into some kind of story or research or poetry and put it in written form. So that way you have a written record. If we ever lose internet access, you'll have a written record somewhere for somebody to have their hands on, right? Hope they don't ban books in the future like Fahrenheit. Don't ban books. Okay. So are you all hearing me? You all hearing my heart? Are you all understanding like why this is significant? This is important, especially those of you who are in my age demographic. You are a grandparent. You do have older children, or you maybe you don't have children, but you have nieces, nephews, cousins, You have generations behind you who need to know your story. They need to know your accomplishments. They need to know your struggle. People need to understand the 1960s. Like, I was born in 1960s, so I was little when civil rights. I was born before the Civil Rights Act of 1964, 65. I was born before that, but I remember going to the movie theater, and integration was new, and how the races were. It was obvious that something was wrong. Like, even though I was a little girl, it was something. It was obvious that there was some kind of conflict in the air. And I remember once, now that I'm mentioning that, my family took us, my parents and my siblings, and maybe some other relatives. I don't know. I was little, but we were at the movie theater, and it was mixed race movie theater, right? And so I remember walking. I think I was going to get some water, drink of water, or to the restroom. And I was just walking on my path, minding my business. And I remember seeing a white man and a little girl about my age. And she started walking towards me. Well, I'm going to get water. Like, we just bumped heads. Boom. We bumped foreheads, sure did, forehead to forehead. Because what was the whole intention of that? Why did that man who she was with, her father, I assume, he saw me walking. Why would he tell her to come walk in my way? We just knocked, bumped heads, and then I just rubbed my head and went on and got water. But when I came back, my parents saw what had happened, and I remember my mother just kind of chuckled and said, "Oh, you weren't gonna move, were you?" I'm like, "Was I supposed to move?" But see, these are the things, these are the stories that we need to tell. Like, yeah. So tell your story, people. Okay, share your story with your family. Write it. Write poems. Get your journals. These journals right here, I already told you all. These are from Ross, Marshalls. A few of them are from a place called Dee Dee's. Dee Dee's has the best prices. This one is from Dee Dee's. That's the price. This is hardback, gilded, gold gilded. The front has a cover like this, and the pages look like this. $4. Okay, so go to a local store because they're better. I ordered some from the TikTok shop. I ordered two for the price of one, so 19.99 for two. But look, these are no way in comparison to Dee Dee's. They're smaller. It's nothing significant about them. They're gratitude journals, and these equal to over $10 each when you add the tax. Look, that's nothing. Okay, stickers. Okay, we'll give them credit for stickers. Some people, I like stickers too, sometimes. They have a saying. Okay, so they have what they have. But look, one of these over here, I'm sure, has something similar, like this one. I got this for my granddaughter thinking I was going to give it to her, and then I ended up liking it. This one was $6 from, I think, Marshall's, and it's got this little funny glittery thing on the front. But what does it have? Okay, it's just got the lined papers. But you all get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, okay? If you have any questions, just message me if you have any questions about journaling and different. If you would like, I can provide you with a questioning tool, a free questioning tool, if you would like it. I have one. I can tweak it to for you guys, and then I can, if you want it, then I can share the link with you. Make it available through Google, through my Google Drive. Okay, and it would be free. So tomorrow I'm doing my 2-hour master class, and so I think every seat, I think it's full is filled. Um, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I have to check. But the master class is going to be about seasons of grace being victorious. I can't even remember the full name. But you all, if I decide to share that master class, like to do um, little shorts, I will. And then I might put it here on YouTube. We'll have to see. I might and I might not, because when people pay, when they pay to do these things, I really don't like to make them free. But I will, if you want the journaling framework tool, just message me in the comments, leave a comment, or just DM me, and I will provide that link for you for free. All right, you all, thank you so much. Be blessed. Go forth.